It wasn't as if you were on the run.
Why were I going?
You didn't know. No, but after you
I was there at the protest.
Oh, really?
I was at the protest. Going where? I stayed there. Even when I took out the key, yes, one of the commanders told, you could hear it on the video, tell them arrest him. And everybody was standing there. Everybody still was standing there. Nobody was making an arrest. I stood there and I gave interviews. Okay. Now, when I went into the cell, I stayed in the cell till throughout the period. Before I left, the cell was thinking about how do we draw attention to the problem people are facing in the cell, and decided that we would hold a hunger strike. This was on Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Those were the days. I came out on Monday. And a letter was sent to the police hierarchy. The media was informed that this was going on. So the police hierarchy rushed there on that Friday and invited me that, oh, my bail has been granted, you should leave. And I said, oh, I'll leave on Monday. I told them. They came in so many times to try to get me to process my bail quickly and leave. And I said I was staying with the individuals who were there. So Friday they were seeing whether the hunger strike would hold. People in fact, the hunger strike was a solidarity of the haves with the have-nots. So when those whose families would come and bring food said, take the food away, throughout the Friday.
They rejected
They asked them to take the food back, and they did. On Saturday morning, one of the inmates was they came with so many people, picked them up, took him in Sawan prisons. Now, we had discussed this, and we had discussed that the only means the police would do is try to disperse those who are in the cells, in different cells, to break the hunger strike. So we were prepared for it. And when they took the individual out, we lined up, and as they were taking him out of the cell, we started clapping for him. And we started singing gospel songs. We sang gospel songs for about 30 minutes. In the cells? In the cells. And they took him away. After that, I took my book. I was mainly reading in the cell. I was lying down, and I was reading in the morning. And most people had gone back to bed, because this happened the individual was taken around 7 a.m. And most people sleep till like midday, but we woke everybody up because of what was happening. And then they went back to sleep. And I was lying there. When about 2 hours after that, 6 individuals who were armed, there were 8 of them subsequently, but 6 entered the cell, opened the cell and entered. Then commanded everybody to go into a corner and asked me to come out. So I come out. Again, I'm expecting it because I know that they're deeply embarrassed by the conversation we are having. I come out, and then one of them says, where are your things? So I asked, what's happening? Why are you taking me? He repeats, where are your things? I repeat my question again. The next thing I know, I'm being strangled. And I was holding the chokehold like this. Yes, like this. Then the other person was stepping my feet. The other person was knocking me in the head.
They did that to you.
I'm saying this is in front of. This is when you come out of the cell. This is the counter, just in front of the cell. And this goes on for about 15 minutes while they're palmating.
Were you struggling with them?
I'm trying to breathe. I am screaming. I can't breathe. And everybody in the cell is watching.
Have you reported this to the police?
They've issued a statement.
Hierarchy? Yes.
They've issued a statement that while I was being transferred to another cell, I sustained injuries in the course of it. Like injuries descended upon me in the course of it. Now, as this was happening, I am carried out. I'm wearing boxers.
You're tearing up now.
Wow. I am wearing boxers in the cell and a little white shirt. In fact, there's pictures of that and where it's blood stained. And I'm carried into this vehicle and it drives off. I don't know where I'm going. I have no idea, nothing. And it just keeps driving. Eventually, we end up in Dansuman, Senate Flat Police Station. Then they open the cell and put me in there. And the cell was extremely dirty. There was a cell that it hadn't been occupied. And so I asked the commander there if I can get a broom to sweep there. And that's it. And then they brought a gentleman. And I was dripping. I was dripping. This hand, I couldn't move it. So the guy comes in. So a gentleman comes. They bring a young guy coming.
I think you should let the IGP know of this because the police.
They issued a statement.
Maybe they don't know the full details.
They bring a gentleman in. They bring a gentleman in there to clean. So I said, I'd rather do it. So they give me the broom. I'll do it. I don't want you to be burdened by this in the state. So I take the broom for him. Now, I don't know who it is. I think it's one of the commanders who I could sense his discomfort through this. Because this thing was being led by the second in command at the Accra Regional Police Command. That's the 2IC. So I could send one Mr. Nephew, also a police officer. I don't know then. He then suggested to them, yes.
Police station, okay.
So he is from regional.
Okay.
So the number of police officers that came
Nephew,
there.
is that it?
Yes.
Okay.
The number of police officers that came there, there were 2 vehicles. So all in all, about 10 to 12 led me there. So then they had a conversation and said they have to take him to the hospital. Now I'm telling you, I was surprised that they were taking me to the hospital. Honestly. So they bring me out of the cell as I'm sitting there. They decided, okay, there was a hospital nearby. So they took me to the hospital.
They took you to
They took me to the hospital there, where I was attended to. I was given a tetanus injection. Medication was written for me. I was bandaged and that. So as we were going, the number of police officers, I saw that people had come onto the roadside. It's only now that I've come out that I saw that one of them took a picture of me in the vehicle, where my hand is bandaged. I have plasters on my finger. And then people then started talking about it. And then they issued a statement saying that they, in the course of being transported, I sustained injuries. But you see, this is one of the things I was saying. I understood when we were doing the hunger strike that the normal and humane thing would have been to say that these are human beings. Can we listen and have a conversation with them and address this problem? It didn't happen.